In today's episode, embark on a journey of survival, unexpected peace, and the brutal clash of empires that changed history forever. In 1607, 3 English ships sailed into the Chesapeake Bay, seeking wealth and land. They established Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement in the New World. Disease, famine, and conflict with native tribes pushed the colony to the brink of collapse. Captain John Smith took control, enforcing discipline to save the struggling settlers. The introduction of tobacco by John Rolfe transformed Virginia's economy forever. In 1619, the first enslaved Africans arrived, marking a dark turning point in history. The same year, the House of Burgesses met, establishing representative government. Further north, the Mayflower carried religious separatists across the stormy Atlantic. In 1620, the Pilgrims signed the Mayflower Compact, creating a self-governing community at Plymouth. Thousands of Puritans soon followed, seeking religious freedom in Massachusetts Bay. Governor John Winthrop envisioned the colony as a shining city upon a hill. Rigorous religious conformity sparked dissent among those seeking true spiritual freedom. Roger Williams was banished and went on to found Rhode Island on principles of liberty. Anne Hutchinson also challenged the Puritan authorities, leading to her banishment. Settlers expanded outward, establishing Connecticut and New Hampshire in the fertile wilderness. Tensions with native populations escalated as English settlements rapidly multiplied. The bloody Pequot War of 1637 devastated native resistance in southern New England. Maryland was founded as a safe haven for persecuted English Catholics. The English Civil War disrupted royal authority, leaving colonies largely to self-govern. Trade flourished as merchants navigated the growing Atlantic commerce networks. Religious tolerance grew in Maryland with the landmark Act of Toleration in 1649. European powers continued to clash over territory in the fertile Hudson River Valley. The Dutch established New Netherland, creating a diverse and wealthy trading hub. Meanwhile, Sweden planted a short-lived colony along the Delaware River. The expansion of tobacco plantations in the South fueled the demand for labor. Indentured servitude became the primary source of labor before slavery fully codified. Throughout this era, colonial identities began to diverge based on regional economies. With the English monarchy restored, King Charles II sought tighter control over colonies. In 1664, English warships seized New Amsterdam, renaming it New York. King Philip's War erupted in 1675, devastating New England's frontier communities. It became one of the deadliest conflicts per capita in American history. In Virginia, poor frontiersmen led by Nathaniel Bacon rebelled against the governor. Bacon's rebellion exposed deep class divisions and accelerated the transition to slavery. William Penn received a charter to establish Pennsylvania as a Quaker sanctuary. Philadelphia quickly grew as a model city of tolerance and commerce. King James II consolidated northern colonies into the unpopular Dominion of New England. The Glorious Revolution in England sparked uprisings that overthrew the Dominion. Colonial assemblies reasserted their power to govern local affairs and levy taxes. In 1692, mass hysteria gripped Salem, resulting in the infamous witch trials. 19 innocent people were hanged before colonial authorities halted the madness. Meanwhile, global conflict erupted as Britain and France fought for North American dominance. King William's War brought brutal frontier raids to English and French settlements. Queen Anne's War followed, pitting European empires and their native allies against each other. British forces captured Port Royal, securing Nova Scotia in the Treaty of Utrecht. These imperial conflicts deeply tied colonial security to British military power. A long period of peace allowed the colonial population to grow exponentially. German and Scotch-Irish immigrants flooded into the backcountry, seeking land. Benjamin Franklin emerged as a leading intellectual, publisher, and scientist in Philadelphia. In the 1730s, a massive religious revival known as the Great Awakening swept the land. Charismatic preachers like George Whitefield drew massive crowds with emotional sermons. Jonathan Edwards warned sinners of divine wrath, sparking deep spiritual transformations. The revival fostered a shared American identity and challenged traditional religious authority. Georgia was founded in 1732 as a utopian social experiment and military buffer. Triangular trade networks bound the colonies tightly to Africa and the West Indies. King George's War reignited imperial rivalries, highlighting the vulnerability of frontier borders. English colonists captured the massive French fortress of Louisbourg against great odds. The return of Louisbourg to France in the peace treaty deeply angered the colonists. Both empires soon eyed the fertile and strategically crucial Ohio River Valley. French forces built a chain of forts to block British westward expansion. A young Virginia militia officer named George Washington was sent to warn the French. In 1754, Washington's forces clashed with the French, sparking a global war. Representatives met at the Albany Congress, where Franklin proposed a colonial union. Though the Albany plan failed, it laid the groundwork for future cooperation. The 7 Years' War began with disastrous defeats for British and colonial forces. General Braddock was ambushed and killed near Fort Duquesne, leaving the frontier defenseless. British Prime Minister William Pitt took control, pouring massive resources into the war. British and colonial troops captured key French strongholds, including Fort Ticonderoga. The decisive Battle of the Plains of Abraham led to the fall of Quebec. Montreal fell shortly after, ending French imperial ambitions in North America. The 1763 Treaty of Paris granted Britain vast territory from the Atlantic to the Mississippi. Native tribes, fearing British encroachment, launched a bloody rebellion led by Chief Pontiac. To restore order, King George III issued the Proclamation of 1763, banning Western settlement. Deeply in debt from the war, Britain decided the colonies must help pay. Parliament passed the Sugar Act and the Stamp Act, triggering widespread outrage. Colonists organized protests, declaring there should be no taxation without representation. Sons of Liberty formed, using intimidation and boycotts to resist the British taxes. Parliament repealed the Stamp Act, but asserted its absolute power with the Declaratory Act. New duties on glass, lead, paper, and tea sparked fresh resistance and boycotts. British troops were sent to Boston to restore order, escalating daily tensions. In 1770, British soldiers fired on a hostile crowd, killing 5 colonists. The Boston Massacre became a powerful symbol of British tyranny across the colonies. In 1773, Parliament passed the Tea Act, granting a monopoly to the East India Company. Protesters disguised as Mohawks boarded British ships, dumping tea into Boston Harbor. Furious British officials responded with the coercive acts, shutting down Boston's port. Colonists united in support of Massachusetts, sending food and supplies to Boston. The First Continental Congress met in Philadelphia, organizing a united colonial boycott. Local militias, known as Minutemen, began stockpiling weapons and drilling for battle. On April 19, 1775, British troops marched toward Concord to seize colonial weapons. Shots rang out at Lexington Green, marking the start of the Revolutionary War. The bloody Battle of Bunker Hill proved that colonial forces could stand against the British. Thomas Paine's pamphlet Common Sense galvanized public opinion toward total independence. In Philadelphia, the Second Continental Congress debated breaking all ties with Great Britain. Thomas Jefferson drafted a formal document declaring the colonies free and independent states. On July 4, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was adopted, birthing a new nation.